I must start with more astonishing woke nonsense. Aren't you fed up with this stuff? The Albanese government, it's just refusing to listen to the Australian people who lastly voted against dividing us by race. Yet there's something now that slipped by me, hasn't been reported much. Did you know this government has created a new body to manage what's called the Aboriginal Water Entitlements Program? It's to buy water for just one race of people. To buy water in the Murray-Darling system, that's our most important farming area. It's water that irrigators, of course, rely on too. $100 million of it, up from $40 million the previous government foolishly promised but wisely never spent. Now, overseeing this water apartheid is Environment Minister Tanya Plibersek, wouldn't you know, who also this year effectively banned a $1 billion gold mine because a few people identifying as Aboriginal claimed it was on sacred land. Plibersek overruled the traditional owners who said it wasn't. Seems she really has got the mystic woo-woos. Now, her department now says the Murray-Darling Basin is home to over 50 First Nations, and water is a vital part of the connection to country. Well, however, it says the impacts of colonisation have deeply affected these communities' access to water. Wicked colonisation. Plibersek herself complains that people identifying as Aboriginal own just 0.2% of Australia's surface waters. But her $100 million Aboriginal Water Entitlements Program, that begins to reverse that legacy and recognises the lasting and deep connection of First Nations peoples with water. So what is this deep connection with water that apparently all Aborigines somehow mystically inherit? Are they maybe all irrigation farmers? Will this $100 million perhaps at least buy water for farming? Well, not necessarily at all. We're told this $100 million is to buy water to help Aboriginal well-being, like cultural well-being, social, economic, which, yes, might include a bit of farming, and spiritual well-being. I mean, is someone pulling our leg? The census tells us most Aborigines are in fact Christians. This money isn't to buy water for the baptismal font, you know. There'd be riots if $100 million of taxpayer money was spent to fill Catholic fonts. No, we're talking about old Aboriginal spirituality, even though the census also tells us that 2%, less than, of Aborigines follow traditional Aboriginal spirituality. I bet most of them wouldn't live along the Murray and Darling rivers. Does the government care? So who's managing all this water? Who picked them? Who do they represent? Now, and here we can actually see how the defeat of the Voice last year suddenly left a big hole in the government's plans. I mean, the Voice was obviously meant to be the start of a separate Aboriginal government. Instead, Plibersek now has to pick an interim body to run this. 3 directors who identify as Aboriginal, despite obviously having other ancestry as well. People who are selected, not elected, until Plibersek can figure who on earth will run this $100 million scheme for those 50 Aboriginal so-called nations. I wonder how that's going to work, by the way. Is it elections or more selections of the kind of self-identified Aborigines that Plibersek seems to prefer, like the ones who convinced her to stop that gold mine this year? Is this stupid race politics really our future? Enough. I mean, really enough. We've got to revolt against this woke identity politics. If you want water, don't tell me your race. That's your business, not mine. It's enough that, you know, if you're a farmer and you pay for that water, but with your money and not ours.